Jaya Radha Madhuva Kunyabe Hagate Jaya Radha Madhuva Kunyabe Hagate Gopi Janabalaba Girivana Dhati Gopi Janabalaba Girivana Dhati Yasunanandana Brajajanuranjana Yasunanana Brajajanuranjana Yamuna Tira Badachade Yamuna Tira Badachade Jayaradhu Madhava Kunjabihauti Jayaradhu Madhuva Kunjabihauti Gopi Janabalaba Girivadadauti Gopi Janabalaba Girivadadauti Yasodanandana Brajajanuranjana Yasodanandana Brajajanuranjana Jamuna Tira Banachade Yamuna Tira Banachade Jaya Radhu Madhva Kunjabihauti Jaya Radhu Madhva Kunjabihauti Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravatikacharya Also Teta Satishi Shimad, His Divine Grace. Abhaya Chanananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami. Maharashil Upad Kichai. ISKCON founder Acharya. Srila Prabhupada Gijai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav. Vrinda Gijai. Namacharya. Srila Haridas Thakur Gijai. Friends, say Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda Shidway Gadadha. Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Gijai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath. Shaima Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Majuram Ki Jai. Jagadadha Swami Ki Jai. Yamunamai Ki Jai. Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale. Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Samaniti Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharni Nivishesha Shinivadi Paschacha Tejatarni. So today we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 65th chapter. That's 28. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Rama, Rama, Maha, Baho, Na, Jane, Tava, Vikramam, Yashai Kamshena, Vidhrita, Jagate, Jagata, Vate, Ko, the Janitava Vikramam, Yashai Kamshena Vidhrita, Jagati Jagatapate, Rama Rama Makwabhu, the Janitava Vikramam, Yashai Kamshena Vidhrita, Jagati Jagatapate, Rama Rama Mahabhaho, the Janitava Vikramam, Yashai Kamshena Vidhrita, Jagati Jagatapate. Okay. right? Rama, Rama. Oh, Rama, Rama. Mahabahu. O mighty armed one. Najane. I do not appreciate. Tava, your. Vikramam, prowess. Yasya, whose. Eka, one. Angshena, by a portion. Vidhrita is sustained. Jagate, the earth. Jagata, of the universe. Pate, O master. Translation, Goddess Yamuna said, Rama, Rama, O mighty armed one, I know nothing of your prowess. With a single portion of yourself, you hold up the earth, O Lord of the universe. So you can repeat, Goddess Yamuna said, Rama, Rama, O mighty armed one, I know nothing of your prowess. With a single portion of yourself, you hold up the earth, O Lord of the universe. So, purport by the servants of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, the phrase ekam shena, with a single portion, refers to the Lord's expansion as Shesha. This is confirmed by the Acharyas. And so we'll read the short commentaries by the Acharyas, and then we'll say something. By one, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states, by one of your portions, Shesha, you carry the earth. Jiva Goswami states, O giver of enjoyment to the universe, because you give enjoyment to the universe, you should not afflict me. She repeated his name out of fear or out of lowness to make him face her, though he was angry. O strongest person, it is not possible to know your full powers, since you maintain the whole earth by just one of your expansions, not even one of your limbs. Normally, the sentence should read, E na kam shena. Sridhar Swami thus says that this refers to Shesha, Lord Balaram's expansion. Very easily you hold up the earth. You do this to protect the earth, Jagatpate. Since you hold up the earth, who supports rivers like me and the ocean by one of your expansions, it is impossible for persons like me to understand your real power. So again, the Sanskrit, Rama Rama Mahabahu, the Jhane Tava Vikramam, Yashai Kam Shena Vidrita Jagati Jagata Pate. So Om Gana Tibananda Shah Gavan Shana Shlakya Jakshur Meditam Yena Tismai Shigare Maha. So there's several things going on here. One, of course, is she is illustrating to us the method of apologizing and dealing with your mistakes. First of all, you cry, please save me, and then you glorify the particular individual, and as she's doing here, and then after that you do something to rectify your mistake, which she's going to do later on in the chapter. So that's one thing going on here, but actually, even more interesting from actually my point of view in this particular regard, is that we have her, that is the goddess Yamuna, misunderstanding the Lord's transcendental position. Now this is very interesting because yesterday we were having some discussion after class in which it was described that this is like Chaya Kalindi. Chaya means like a shadow of Kalindi. And I was thinking, why did the Acharyas say that? that she's Chaya Kalindi. I was asking Krishna Prabhu, and both of us, neither of us understood why she is considered like that. And here the answer is given. The answer is that if she was actually Kalindi, she wouldn't have complete faith in the Lord's activities. So, therefore, she's considered a shadow, because the actual person, Kalindi, or the personality, the original personality of Jamuna, would not have a lack of faith in the Lord's activities. Because, why am I saying that? Because Jamuna, just like we're chanting every morning, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, that the river Jamuna has witnessed what? All of Krishna's activities previously. This is after Krishna's activities in Vrindavan that this particular pastime is taking place. So she has witnessed Krishna's miraculous activities. What are Krishna's miraculous activities? Lifting Govardhan Hill, right? Dancing with so many gopis, dividing himself and dancing with so many gopis in the middle of the night, the full moon night. Also, she's also witnessed Krishna taking intoxication. As described by the Acharyas, that this is not the first instance of Jamuna or intoxication. We find that one particular story is very interesting, that Krishna and the gopis, they were drinking honey wine. And they got so intoxicated that when they began to pour the honey wine, they poured on the wrong side of the cup and went all over the place. Of course, one time, one devotee did that with Prabhupada, not the honey wine, of course, but he was offering Prabhupada water. And, you know, sometimes these fancy glasses, you really can't tell which side is actually the glass, which side is the bottom. And so he poured it and got water all over Prabhupada's desk. So, but anyway, so this has happened before. There's been intoxication before. Then there's been so many instances of Balaram also exhibiting his, I wouldn't even say superhuman, but I'd say transcendental. Because sometimes you say superhuman, it's not enough to describe the Lord's pastimes. So transcendental pastimes, you know, like Dana Kasura, you know, just chucking them up, you know, throwing them in the trees. How many people can throw donkeys in trees? I can't even throw a cat in a tree. What to speak of a donkey in the tree? So, not that I would try that. So, I mean, so many miraculous activities. Balaram killing Palambasura. And so Yamuna has witnessed all these things before, many of the things that occurred right in the banks of the Yamuna River. So this is actually like an expansion. This is how the Acharyas came to that conclusion. This is an expansion of the original river, Vibhuti, as described by the Acharyas. This is really interesting. Vibhuti means the energy, or, you know, of course, we are actually one of the expansions of the Lord. Mami Vangsa Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manakshani Indriyani Prakristani Karshati. So the Lord has his vibhutis, his energies. Rasha Shaktir, Vadaya Vashuyate, Svapavaki Gyana Palakriya Ja, Vishnu Shakti, Parabrabda, Shechakya Tata, Paravidyakarma Samatra Shakti, Tritira Shakti Ishate. Material energy, spiritual energy, and the jiva souls. So, what is being described by Kalindi here, in terms of Lord Balaram, is not simply vibhuti, but actually his Vishnu Tattva expansions. And she uses this interesting word here, ekam shena, which is there in the verse. eka amshena. That's also there in the Bhagavad Gita, if anyone remembers that verse. That's at the end, towards the end, I think it's the 42nd verse in the 10th canto, 10th chapter, of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, what is the use of all this detailed information, with a single fragment, ekam shenastato jagat, I maintain all these universes. So let's get back to this point about faith. So it appears that this expansion of Jamuna doesn't have complete faith in Balaram. I mean, if I saw Balaram doing these things, I just think how wonderful. And of course that reflects, talking about the story that Prabhupada often talks about the Brahmin and the cobbler. The Brahmin, he didn't have complete faith. I guess I'll tell the whole story. Once upon a time, Narada Muni was going to see Lord Narayan, and he stopped by to see some, I guess, disciples, a Brahmin and a cobbler, and he told the Brahmin and cobbler he was going to see Lord Narayan, and the Brahmin said, ask him when I'm going back to Godhead, and the cobbler said, tell me the same, when I'm going back to Godhead. So Narada Muni goes to Lord Narayan, back, and the Brahmin says, first of all, what was Lord Narayan doing? And then Narada Muni says he was putting an elephant through the eye of a needle, back and forth, back and forth. And the Brahmin says, forget it, not possible, impossible. And so, excuse me. And then Narada Muni says, you're not going to go back to God. It's going to be many, many births. So then he goes to the cobbler and he tells the cobbler the same thing. The cobbler says, how wonderful. But it's not something so amazing, because Narada Muni asked him, why do you think it's not so amazing? He said, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead has put a tree within a seed. And he do that, he can do anything, basically. I mean, that's amazing. Just like the other day, one of the Gurukul students was asking me the question, why do I have to study biology? And I explained, well, actually, I didn't give this explanation, but later on I talked to him and gave the simpler explanation. I said, we study biology to understand how great the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, because the more we study about this material world, and the more we study, especially life and biology, we'll see how complex life is and how unbelievably complex, and how it's designed, and then we'll have faith that there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, so that's actually quite important. So anyway, so getting back to the point, is Jamuna didn't appear, or the expansion of Jamuna didn't appear to have that faith in the Supreme Personality of God. And as we know from the Bhagavad Gita, what is that? Ashradanana purusha dharmasha param tapa prapyamam nivartante mrityu samsaravartmani. That one who doesn't have that faith, then they don't go back to Godhead. You have to have complete faith, and that's what it means when Krishna says in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Janma Karma Chami Divyam, Evam Yoveti Tatvataha. There's that operative word, Tatvataha, in truth. One who knows that my activities, thank you for your music. One who knows that my activities, karma chame divyam, are transcendental. In other words, have nothing to do with the material world. Jamuna was thinking, or the expansion of Jamuna was thinking, this has something to do with the material world. He's getting intoxicated. Don't have to listen to him. Mundane. Right? She's thinking like that. So Janma Karma Chame Divyam. One has that implicit faith. That's what it means to know about the Lord's transcendental activities, to have that implicit faith. in the Lord. Of course, implicit faith, not only in the Lord's transcendental activities, but also implicit faith that Krishna, ananyas chintayanto mam yejanak paripasate, tesham nityavayuktamam yogakshema vahamyaham. To have complete implicit faith that if we are dedicated to Krishna, Krishna will what? Carry what we lack and preserve what we have. In other words, Krishna will protect us. Krishna will maintain it. Again, Sharanagati. Krishna will maintain us, protect us, will accept, therefore we accept everything favorable to the Lord, service. We reject everything unfavorable. We have no separate interests other than the Lord, and therefore we remain humble, dependent on the Supreme Person. So everything is connected with faith. That's the point I'm making. Everything is connected with implicit faith. Another verse about faith is, Shraddha Shabde Vishah Sakahe Sudrida Nischya. That's from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Implicit faith means you simply do have that faith that by doing what Krishna wants, everything is accomplished. Very, very important verse. So the question is, how do we develop this implicit faith? Of course, another verse before I start to talk about that subject is, Yasha Devi Pura Bhakti Yata Devi Titakuru Tashaite Katita Yarta Prakashante Mahatmana. Everybody knows that verse? One who has faith, not only in Krishna, but in the spiritual master, in the Vedic literatures, all these things are connected, then also he becomes Krishna conscious. Everything is revealed to that particular individual. So we find this principle of faith, implicit faith, complete trust, complete dedication, is essential in understanding the Lord's activities. Otherwise, one will think, Krishna's dancing with, how's it possible to dance with so many girls at the same time? How's it possible to marry, 16,108 ladies? But Prabhupada, when he heard a question like that, he said, how could God or anyone marry 16,108 ladies at the same time, or at different times, actually? So Prabhupada said, we say Krishna only married 16,108 wives. And actually, everyone is Prakriti in relationship to Krishna being what? The Purusha. Krishna is Nityo Nityanam Chaitana Chaitananam Eko Bhaunanam Yobadalati Kaman. What does that mean? Krishna is maintaining all of us. You have trouble maintaining one wife. You have to get a loan in the bank, mortgage. And then you have trouble. You have to ask the sannyasi to help with your marriage problems. There's no instance of Krishna asking anyone for marriage counseling, even though he has wives like Satyabhama. But anyway, so he's able to Nityo Nityanam Chaitana Chaitanam Eko Bhaunanam Yovadadati Kamam. He's maintaining all the plural living entities. What to speak of 16,108 wives. And he's the supreme eternal, Nityo Nityanam. So, anyway, so that's the supreme person. So one has to have that implicit faith. So then, okay, how does one gain that faith? Or how does one surrender? And here we see in this verse, sometimes it takes a little bit of punishment by the Lord to come to that point. So here, Yamuna is being punish, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Balaram, is taking this plow, right? And I guess it was a little painful or something like that, you know, pulling the Yamuna. Of course, even today, you can see those branches of the Yamuna River that are there by, right by the Yamuna. I've been there before. Anyone's been there? I'm sure people have been there. You can actually go to Ramagat. It's called Ramagat. And you can actually see where Yamuna has been scratched. So sometimes we need to become scratched. Of course, maybe not by Balaram's plow. We would be fortunate in that regard. But we need to be scratched by Krishna's Maya, Mama Maya Durachaya. We need to be scratched by her trident of what? Adhyatmic, adibodic, adidaivik, miseries from the body, mind, words to other living entities, misery from material energy. So yeah, so then we come to the point of what? Okay, Rama, isn't it? Or uncle. That's a spiritual way of saying uncle. Like you used to do when you were young. They twist your arm until you say uncle. So Rama, Krishna, I surrender. It's called the school of what? Hard knocks. That's where we are right now. And we have faith while we're going through these hard knocks in the material world, that it's for our own good. Like my mother used to say, I'm hitting you for your own good. But sometimes it was a little over the top. But Krishna is never over the top. Everything Krishna does, we have that faith. It's for our own good. Even whether you're a non-devotee, devotee, aspiring devotee, everything, pure devotee, and you see Krishna everywhere. Yomam pashati sarvatra. Sarva amayu pashati. Tashaham na pranashami sachame na pranashati. So we see Krishna in everything and everywhere. And we have that faith. Yes, Krishna's doing this to me. Doing this to me. No, doing this for me. Sorry, I expressed it wrong. And then what do? Tate nukampam sushamikshimana pujanivatma kritam vipakam ridvag vapurvir vidadam namaste jiveta yo mukti pade siddhaya bhak. Because we have that faith, we go on serving Krishna. We push through it. We don't get bitter. And that's really what Krishna's doing, to bring us to a higher platform. And Krishna's doing this, or Balaram, Krishna, are doing this, they're doing this to Yamuna, to bring her to a higher platform. And Krishna's doing this for us. So, anyway, so gradually we should come to that platform, or quickly we should come to that platform, depending on who you are. And we should develop that faith. And one way that I found very powerful in developing that particular faith is really hearing about pure devotees like His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So here we see someone, a great personality, Shaktavesh avatar, who was put in difficulty too by Krishna. But he never lost his enthusiasm. He never wavered in his determination to serve his spiritual master, and continued under all circumstances. So many trials, tribulations, and even what we might term as failures, which weren't actually failure. A devotee never fails. Because even if it appears like a failure, he's still giving everything complete surrender, ananyas chintayanto mam, without any other motivation, and yabi lashata shunyam jnana karma navritam, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's not a failure. Externally, you may think Jhansi was a failure. No, it's not. Because Prabhupada's pure devotional service is never a failure. So Prabhupada continued more and more enthusiastically in spite of all these difficulties. And that's another point. Not that you just continue serving Krishna, but you continue with enthusiasm. Utsahan nishyed darya tat tat karma pravartana. Utsaha means enthusiasm. So you continue serving enthusiastically. So when we associate with these devotees, we hear about these devotees. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, all these devotees, who are undergoing so many difficulties, and here we are, how many difficulties are we undergoing? Maybe the air conditioner doesn't work or something like that. Come on, Prabhu. Isn't it? Rains a little bit too much. Our husband yells at us. Or wife yells at us. What? So, nothing. I was just thinking, I was having some communication with Amrendra the other day about Srila Jiva Goswami, and about how difficult it was to live in Vrindavan at that particular time. Too hot, too cold. Right now it's completely flooded in Vrindavan. I don't know if you've kept up with this, but it's one of the worst floods they've ever had in Vrindavan. One of my disciples sent me some pictures. Literally, and it's above people's heads in Vrindavan. I'm not sure, but the picture was of the street, boats going through the streets of Vrindavan. So Jiva Goswami's doing that, and he came out, with these most amazing literatures. I was talking to Amrendra Prabhu about a champa, Gopal champa, for example. I asked him, what is a champa? I didn't know. So a champa is something that's equal poetry and equal prose. The Bhagavatam is not, because it's mostly poetry and a little bit of prose. So it's equal poetry, equal prose. And in this Gopal champa, it's simply amazing. He's actually presented the Priti Sandarbha, and three of the final Sandarbhas. The whole philosophy of the Sandarbhas, not the Tattva Sandarbha, of course. So, and I was thinking, oh my God, it takes such determination, such faith, because here you are without any facilities, basically, without even a pen. Here we have computers, right? Very easy to write. Not even a regular pen, not even paper. Just some palm leaves you write on. And so much determination, so much faith. And there's no question, he's thinking, well, is this going to be published later on in Amazon, be your own publisher, publish on demand. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, just so old, he couldn't see, basically. He was blind, his hands were shaking like that. So much faith these people had, these great personalities had. So when we hear, getting to the point, So when I hear about them, it increases my faith, my determination to serve Krishna. So this is the whole point, to gradually increase our faith. You know, as they say, faith moves mountains. That's not from the Vedic literatures. That's Christianity or something like that. That we have to increase our complete trust, our complete faith, and we do that by hearing about these particular role models. Then, if we see Balaram getting drunk, well, sorry, intoxicated, then we'll think how wonderful it is. And if he asks us for something, we won't be so faithless to say, you know, you're just drunk. I don't have to do this for you. You know, sober up, Bala. They'll just think, wonderful about Krishna. So the way we develop that implicit faith is by hearing, glorifying, and serving these great personalities. So that's my message. Yeah. Yeah. It could be Yogamaya, but really, you never had. I've never heard in Vrindavan of the Brajavasis for like criticizing Krishna. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's okay. Uh, that's in the ninth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Shushukam Kartamavyam. By our experience in chanting the holy names, we develop faith too. That's actually another method, a contributing method. Prabhupada said, what is the proof of the pudding is what? Is in the tasting. So yes, our experience too. That's very important. That's a very important factor. And hearing and associating, associating with the pure devotee, like His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, hearing about them, about him, then Mahat Seva Mohora Vimuktes, then one actually gets all these good qualities by that association. And that's how a taste for the holy name comes, by serving a great devotee. And by serving a pure devotee, such as Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Anyway, so thank you for your question. Yes. Yes, certainly we experience the chanting, how blissful it is, how it has the effects, not only giving us happiness, but it liberates us, etc., etc. But the taste for the chanting comes from the serving of the pure devotee. So we have to, yes. Yeah. In Goloka Vrindavan, yeah. They never leave it. Yeah, yeah. Bhagavatam also says that about the yoga cities, that they're actually, these yoga cities are actually just like expansions of the Lord's powers. So, I guess we have to end now, right? It's done. All glories to His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Aravindadalayataksham Bhagavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniyam Nishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namande. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Bhaja Nekele Visesha Shunyavade Vasatyagate Satarane. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gurunatha Siva Sati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Shri Krishna Nana Brahmanachananda Dvaita Gadada Siva Sadi Gaurvakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ramanachananda Dvaita Gadada Siva Sadi Gaurvakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nairat, Agolokan, 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 Nairat, Agolokan, Agolokan, Agolokan. Nairat, hey, Radhe, Nayarande, Nayarate. Nayarate, Radhe, Nayarande, Nayarate. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Sri